If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. There are certain Sundays in the NFL when a player reminds everyone why he was drafted, why he belongs, and why his name deserves to be in conversations about the league's best. Week 7 was one of those moments for Grant Delpit, the Cleveland Browns safety who turned a dominant team win over the Miami Dolphins into a personal statement game. It wasn't just about stats or highlight plays. It was about timing, energy, and the undeniable feeling that Delpit has arrived as one of the most complete safeties in the NFL this season. Cleveland's 31-6 victory didn't just end a frustrating 3-game losing streak. It reignited the confidence of a locker room that had been searching for rhythm, and Delpit was at the center of it all, delivering one of his best performances since entering the league. From the opening snap, you could tell the Browns' defense was on a mission. They came out flying to the ball, collapsing the pocket, and making Tua Tagovailoa a living nightmare. Myles Garrett rediscovered his groove on the edge. The secondary communicated flawlessly, and in the middle of it all was Delpit. Everywhere, all at once. He blitzed at the perfect moments, filled gaps against the run, and delivered the kind of bone-rattling hits that make wide receivers think twice about going across the middle. This was vintage Cleveland defense. Fast, physical, and relentless. And Delpit, wearing that trademark calm expression beneath his helmet, played like the quarterback of that chaos. The highlight of his afternoon came midway through the second quarter, when Delpit chased down a Dolphins returner and forced a fumble that flipped the entire momentum of the game. It was one of those hustle plays that don't always show up in the box score, but completely changed the tone of a team. Cleveland recovered the ball, and the sideline erupted. Helmets clashing, coaches shouting, the entire defense feeding off that spark. You could feel that the Browns had found their heartbeat again, and it was pulsing through Delpit's relentless effort. He wasn't satisfied just making tackles. He was dictating the flow of the game, forcing Miami to adjust their entire offensive plan. In the third quarter, with Miami trying to claw back into it, Delpit delivered another crucial blow. On fourth down, Dolphins wide receiver Malik Washington caught a short pass near the sticks. It looked like he might fight for the extra yardage and keep the drive alive, but Delpit closed in like a missile, wrapping up perfectly and driving him backward. The play stopped the conversion cold, and Cleveland's offense trotted back onto the field with all the momentum. These are the kind of moments that separate good players from great ones. Those split-second reads, those fearless hits, the ability to make the right play when your team needs it most. Later, as the fourth quarter ticked away, Delpit found himself again in the right place at the right time. He burst off the edge on a safety blitz, forcing Tua to throw off balance. The hurried pass floated just enough for Rayshon Jenkins to snag an interception, sealing the victory for Cleveland. The stat sheet would credit Jenkins with the pick, but anyone watching knew it was Delpit's pressure that created the opportunity. That's what makes him so valuable. His fingerprints are on plays that don't always carry his name. It's the quiet impact, the subtle influence on the rhythm of an offense, the trust that his teammates have in him to make something happen. After the game, Delpit's smile said everything. Just a week earlier, he admitted he had almost forgotten what winning felt like, a statement that hit hard for a player who's endured ups and downs since entering the league. Coming out of LSU, Delpit was touted as a future star, a do-it-all safety who could cover, blitz, and play the run. But injuries and inconsistency early in his career slowed that rise. Now, after years of grinding, adjusting, and maturing, it feels like everything is finally clicking. He's healthy, confident, and playing with the swagger that once made him a first-round talent. Mary Kay Cabot, a respected Browns insider, summed it up perfectly when she wrote, "Browns safety Grant Delpit playing at a Pro Bowl level this season." And she's not exaggerating. Through 7 weeks, Delpit has totaled 37 combined tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 3 passes defended, 1 interception, and now a forced fumble to add to the mix. But the stats only tell part of the story. His presence in the defensive backfield has been transformative for Cleveland. He's calling out pre-snap adjustments, anticipating plays before they develop, and showing leadership that goes beyond the numbers. When you watch the tape, it's clear how much trust the coaching staff has in him. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz has unleashed Delpit in a hybrid role, using him as both a traditional safety and a disruptive weapon near the line of scrimmage. One play, he's covering a tight end down the seam. The next, he's sneaking up to blitz off the edge. That versatility has given Cleveland's defense a new dimension, making it unpredictable and hard to scheme against. Offenses can't simply key on Garrett anymore. They have to account for Delpit too, and that's opened up the field for everyone else to thrive. It's also worth noting how his energy has rubbed off on the younger players around him. Rookie running back Quinton Judkins led the offense with a breakout performance, and the team's chemistry seemed to flow naturally from Delpit's example. When your defensive leader plays with that kind of intensity, everyone feels it. The Browns have been through their share of turmoil this season. Injuries, tough losses, and a brutal schedule. But this win felt different. It felt like a statement that the Browns' identity still starts with defense, with grit, and with playmakers like Grant Delpit setting the tone. What's perhaps most impressive about Delpit's evolution is how patient he's been with his process. In today's NFL, where players are often judged too quickly, his journey is a reminder that development takes time. His rookie year was wiped out by an Achilles injury, and many doubted whether he'd ever regain his explosiveness. But Delpit never stopped working. He rebuilt his body, studied film obsessively, and embraced every challenge that came his way. You can see that mental toughness in the way he approaches the game now. Every snap is an opportunity, every mistake a lesson. He's turned adversity into fuel, and the result is a player who's now one of the most complete defenders in the AFC. And let's be honest, this kind of season doesn't just happen by accident. It takes a combination of preparation, confidence, and trust in the system. Delpit seems to have all three. His football IQ is through the roof, his instincts are sharper than ever, and his tackling technique has become textbook. He's no longer just relying on athleticism. He's diagnosing plays, anticipating routes, and using his knowledge to outthink quarterbacks. You can see it in the way he disguises coverages, baiting throws that never should have been attempted. For Tua and the Dolphins, it was a long afternoon of frustration, much of it orchestrated by Delpit's pre-snap deception. Now, as we move deeper into the season, the conversation naturally shifts toward accolades. Could this be the year Grant Delpit earns his first Pro Bowl selection? All signs point to yes. He's been consistent, impactful, and clutch, three qualities that voters pay attention to. The AFC is stacked with talented safeties, but Delpit's blend of production and leadership makes him stand out. More importantly, he's helping the Browns win, and winning always amplifies individual recognition. If he continues on this trajectory, it would be shocking not to see his name among the Pro Bowl finalists come December. For Browns fans, this resurgence is a breath of fresh air. They've waited for this defense to truly live up to its potential, and performances like this remind everyone what's possible when the pieces fall into place. Myles Garrett drawing double teams, the secondary flying around, and Grant Delpit orchestrating chaos in the middle. It's a formula that could carry Cleveland deep into the season. And if Delpit continues to play like this, he won't just make the Pro Bowl. He'll be in the conversation for All-Pro honors too. At the end of the day, football is about moments. Those flashes when effort, preparation, and passion collide. Grant Delpit had one of those days against Miami, and it might just be the spark that defines his season. The Browns needed a leader to step up, and Delpit answered the call. He's no longer just a promising young safety. He's becoming the kind of player opposing coaches have to game plan around, the kind who changes outcomes, the kind who earns respect, not just from teammates and fans, but from the entire league. As Cleveland turns the page to Week 8, they do so with renewed confidence and a clear message. The Browns are back, and Grant Delpit is leading the charge. His journey has been anything but easy, but it's finally paying off. The pain of early struggles, the grind of recovery, the patience through losing streaks, it all culminated in that dominant performance. And if this is what he looks like when he's locked in, then the rest of the league better start paying attention. Because Grant Delpit isn't just playing at a Pro Bowl level. He's redefining what it means to be a Cleveland Brown. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Myles Garrett, one of the most fearsome defensive ends in the NFL, has reportedly thrown down the gauntlet to the Cleveland Browns, sending shockwaves through the fan base and stirring a storm of speculation around the team's future. According to sources close to the situation, Garrett's ultimatum is crystal clear. Either the Browns make significant changes across the organization, or he will walk away from the team he has dominated for years. It's the kind of drama that fuels off-season rumors and has social media buzzing with every possible scenario, from blockbuster trades to coaching shakeups, and even questions about the franchise's long-term strategy. For those who have followed Garrett's career, this is hardly the first time he's made his presence felt both on and off the field. Drafted first overall by the Browns in 2017, he quickly transformed their defensive line into one of the most feared units in the league. His sack totals, quarterback pressures, and overall ability to disrupt offenses have made him a cornerstone of the Browns' defense. Yet, despite his individual dominance, the team's inconsistency and inability to build around him in recent years seem to have pushed Garrett to his breaking point. Sources indicate that his frustration isn't just about wins and losses. It's about the culture, the decision-making at the front office level, and the lack of urgency to contend for a championship. The ultimatum reportedly came after a series of tense conversations between Garrett and Browns management. While the specifics of these talks remain shrouded in secrecy, insiders suggest that Garrett has grown increasingly impatient with what he perceives as half measures and incremental change. He allegedly demanded a comprehensive reassessment of the roster, coaching strategies, and even the leadership structure of the team. If these demands are not met to his satisfaction, he is prepared to leave Cleveland, a decision that could reshape the franchise in ways fans are only beginning to speculate about. The implications of his threat extend far beyond just one player leaving. Garrett is more than just a defensive end. He's a face of the franchise, a locker room leader, and a player whose presence on the field can alter the trajectory of every game. Losing him would be a seismic event, forcing the Browns to rethink not just their roster, but their identity as a team. Fans and analysts alike are now asking the question, how far will the Browns go to keep Garrett in town? Some insiders suggest that the team's ownership is already weighing aggressive options, from upgrading key positions to making bold coaching decisions, all in a bid to show Garrett that his concerns are being taken seriously. Rumors are swirling about potential trades and draft strategies that could reshape the team's defensive core, while whispers about the front office reevaluating its long-term approach are gaining traction. Every conversation, every meeting, and every public statement is being dissected by fans, sports media, and rival teams, all eager to understand whether the Browns can retain one of the league's most dominant defensive talents. Meanwhile, the media landscape is alive with speculation. Social media platforms are flooded with theories, ranging from Garrett threatening to hold out until the team agrees to his terms, to potential offseason moves that could either placate or alienate him. Some experts argue that Garrett's ultimatum might be a negotiating tactic, designed to accelerate changes that were already in motion, while others insist it reflects a genuine willingness to leave the franchise if nothing changes. The reality is, nobody outside the inner circle truly knows how far Garrett is willing to push, but the tension is palpable. Every practice, every press conference, and every front office decision is now being viewed through the lens of Garrett's ultimatum, making what was once routine offseason chatter into a high-stakes drama that could define the Browns' trajectory for years to come. Sources close to the locker room suggest that Garrett's teammates are divided on the issue. Some reportedly sympathize with his demands, acknowledging that the team has underperformed relative to the talent on the roster, while others are concerned about the disruption such a standoff could cause. The dynamic within the locker room is reportedly tense, with players and staff alike monitoring how management responds to Garrett's call for sweeping changes. Every decision, whether it's related to free agency signings, draft picks, or coaching staff retention, is now interpreted as a potential signal about the team's willingness to meet his demands. It's a pressure cooker scenario, and the Browns front office is acutely aware that mishandling this situation could have long-term consequences both on and off the field. Meanwhile, NFL insiders are already speculating about potential suitors should Garrett ultimately decide to leave. Teams with strong defensive schemes and championship aspirations are reportedly keeping tabs on the situation, ready to pounce if the Browns cannot satisfy Garrett's demands. Imagine the ripple effects. A player of his caliber hitting the open market or becoming part of a trade negotiation could dramatically shift the balance of power in the league. The Browns would not just be losing a player. they would be losing a foundational piece around which their defensive identity has been built. For Garrett, however, it seems to be about more than money or accolades. It's about legacy, influence, and ensuring that the team he has poured blood, sweat, and tears into is committed to doing everything possible to compete at the highest level. While fans hold their collective breath, the narrative around Garrett's ultimatum is evolving by the hour. Sports analysts are debating whether this move is a sign of leadership or an act of rebellion, while team insiders insist that Garrett's passion and drive have always been about one thing: winning. The Browns now face a pivotal moment in franchise history. Will they rise to the challenge and enact the sweeping changes Garrett is demanding, or will they risk losing one of the most dominant defensive players in the league, potentially triggering a rebuild and altering the course of the team's future? Every rumor, every leak, and every insider tip is now magnified, fueling a frenzy of speculation that has fans glued to every report. The drama is real, the stakes are sky-high, and one thing is certain. Whatever happens next, Myles Garrett has made it clear that the Browns are at a crossroads, and his ultimatum may very well be the catalyst for one of the most dramatic chapters in the franchise's history. At the heart of it, this isn't just a story about one player threatening to leave. It's a story about a team forced to confront its shortcomings and decide whether it is willing to make bold moves in pursuit of a championship. Garrett's ultimatum has become a lightning rod, exposing tensions, ambitions, and the unvarnished truth about what it takes to compete in today's NFL. As the Browns weigh their options, the league watches with bated breath, knowing that a resolution, or lack thereof, could have ramifications far beyond Cleveland. Myles Garrett has never been one to shy away from a challenge, and his latest move cements his status not just as a defensive superstar, but as a player unafraid to demand change and hold a franchise accountable. For fans, it's a roller coaster of emotion, a saga that could redefine the team's future, and a story that will dominate headlines well into the offseason. The Browns are on notice, and the world of football is watching to see if they can answer the call or if one of their greatest players will walk away, leaving a void that will echo for years. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!